what's your goal for this week as far as uh trading in general? Like, because we have the bank
Sure.
holiday on Thursday, so what do you think, like what do you keep in mind this week to stay balanced? Because it could be a week where one of two things happen. I feel like you're either overly aggressive or you're overly conservative.
Yeah.
Not you, just the trader.
Sure.
Some traders like
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
with the holiday, they'll say, oh, it's a holiday Thursday, Black Friday, Friday, I'm chilling this week, I'm not trading. Well, you could have made some
Yeah.
money this morning with us on NASDAQ. You could have made some money Euro USD. So you don't want to necessarily take that approach, but you also don't want to go super heavy and slam it this week and then be down going into the bank holiday. So how do you stay even? How do you stay balanced?
For sure. I think you maybe just continue showing up, but maybe just size down. So if you normally take your ace your setups with or whatever A B or C setups with 1%, just if your A setups are 1.5, take them with zero point 0.8, and your B setups 1%, take them with zero point 0.5. Your C setups, if I trade them at zero point 0.8, take them at zero point 0.4. Just half your risk in half, and if you come out with a positive week of maybe 1% in the 3 days or something like that, you're doing well. I think you just have to. It's good to stay on edge and at the desk on routine, because sometimes when like I was sick a couple of like 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I missed like a whole week of trading. I just was really really sick.
I remember.
I had a bad flu, and yeah, and I came back to the desk. The first day back was kind of like a bit, it's like you haven't been practicing in like a week, so it's a bit like you like a newborn horse or something like that. You have to just get ease into it. Yeah.
Have you done any thinking into the indices or in anything like that with me? I know we spoke about it last week. Have you thought about pushing further there? That is where I feel like I could be a position trader, bro, where I take a smaller position on some of these things.
Sure.
That's what I've been doing over the last 2 months is I've been taking, like, I'll take a smaller position on NASDAQ in that setup like today, and I'll look to just position
Yep.
myself in, trust a small
Swing
stop
it.
loss, and
Yep.
just leave it alone. And like I would still be holding a piece of this now, you know what I mean? And just piece out of it and just hold it
Yep.
because it
Sure.
could when you're riding an index, it could ride that trend for days, you know?
Yeah, I think that's we did have a word to each other the other day. I have been looking into US 30 definitely. Nasdaq. I think maybe the bad thing for me is like we always have this we have this idea in South Africa that you can flip small accounts trading the Nasdaq with like a $100 account, turn it into like $5,000 in one trade. I think that kind of turned me off, because when I got it with you, into ASFX, I was like, cool, I'm gonna just stick to currencies and whatever, because I had that bad um, idea of what Nasdaq trading and indice trading is like. But I think getting into it now, it's the same thing. It's just technical, and then it's just the same risk management. Doesn't matter what instrument or what asset class you're trading. It's the same thing.
Great
If you're risking
answer.
1%, you're risking 1%. But I think I've definitely started to get into it more, as well as Bitcoin. And gold. I've been looking at gold, but gold's very fundamentally based. I do know that one of the guys in ASFX, Steve Lennon, he likes to trade gold. He sends me a lot of markups on gold, etc., etc. But I think it can be sometimes very fundamentally based because it is gold. But I have been getting into the indices and Bitcoin trade. Just collecting a couple of markups. It's quite cool to watch them move with the same patterns that we trade forex with.
Well, and I like it a lot too because if we can use our Forex knowledge, our technical analysis knowledge, not even Forex, it's technical analysis knowledge, and you read
Yeah,
this, like when you read this market sentiment line being where it is in the buy zone, you see these EMAs, you see that we're above Friday's high. How would you not be bullish on this? And futures are green.
yeah,
It's
of
almost just
course.
saying buy it and shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like literally.
Yeah,
And there's money to
for
be made there. So that's
for
why
sure.
and especially because like you see how this is picking up volatility right now, everybody. This is why I'm getting into this
Sure.
because if I want to sleep in, I don't want to worry about missing my money for the day. If I can trade this, I can sleep in and I can still hit this at 9:30, you know. I got a couple of questions in the
Yep.
chat, bro, before I let you go really quick. So,
Sure.
Corbin
Sure.
Corbin loved the answer. Bougie to Goat, who's in South Africa with you. Hopefully he takes advantage of the Black Friday sale because this motherfucker's been here every day and he still ain't in the team. I can't
He
wait for him to
has. He's
join.
been there
Yeah,
like for
bro.
3 months or something.
Oh man. So he said if the only flaw in the setup is risk reward, would you adjust the stop loss to get good risk reward? For example, instead of using previous high or low, use the most recent high or low. I would say no. I mean, when you take the course Bougie to go, you'll understand where the stop losses should go, right? Like we have a very specific place for the stop losses. You should never change the stop loss position because then you're off edge. If the risk reward isn't there with where you need to put your stop loss based on the system, you just don't take the trade. The same reason, really quick, And then James, I'll take your take on it. But like if you look at EuroCAD today, this is why we did not short EuroCAD, because no matter where I put the stop loss, I can still get that. You could justify you'd get good risk reward to this zone from Friday's low or to the divergence line, but that doesn't mean it's actually the risk reward there or it's even still worth it just because you moved your stop loss. So that's why I would say no, I would not move the stop. I would just turn away and find a new trade. What do you think, James?
I agree, but I'd like to add that it depends also what you're trading into. Are you trading into divergence, into no space left on ADR? Yesterday's high low. But for me, I don't like yesterday's high and low. I don't grade it as a knock. I take it as a warning. But divergence and ADR are, in the system that we trade, that is a knock for me. So if there's no space left to ADR, if there's like 1-to-1 to ADR, I'm going to be careful taking that trade. How do we know that it's going to go? If it's moved 50 pips on an average day, how do we know that it's going to move 100 pips today? But then also I'd like to add in that with adjusting the stop loss, you got to be careful of that, because if you make your stop loss smaller, that means that your entries have to be more precise, because your timing has to be more precise as well, because the smaller entries equal that you can be stopped out a lot quicker than if you have a 20 pip stop compared to a 5 pip stop. You're going to be stopped out a lot quicker if it doesn't go in your direction. So adjusting the stop loss is also very, very, I'd say it's a tricky and no go for me, because your entries just have to be that much more precise.
Yep. Spot on, bro. Matt Morris, what's up, bro? Matt is saying in the chat, he's